I've been thinking about hunt this week for, over half a year, if not a year. Yeah, so like late season, third rifle, all you really have is tracking them. They're not making any noise, especially in this area. It's hard because they completely change their patterns after the rut. I don't know, we're mainly just trying to cover ground today and see if this area is worth hunting around. Yeah, the sign in this area, especially without having any snow, it's just gonna be real light. Where the needles and duff have been picked up. And especially if they're running downhill, you can see that real well in this stuff. But if they're just moseying through here, it's kind of hard to pick up. Maybe they were feeding in there last night. They're coming into this timber. That's what we're hoping. But keep boogieing. So, I mean, you can tell like how beat up that log is. They come through there. You can even still smell that muskiness. Like that's not fresh elk smell. That's not fresh, but it's elk and moose been in here. Creatures extremely elusive. I think right now they're by and large pretty nocturnal. And I think all these tiny little chunks they've been bucked with on, especially from the other movement. I mean, not all of these elk were running out of here, but a good bit of track in here. They were boogieing, I think this would have been a great place to be on opening morning. Maybe. I don't know. We're definitely not having a hard time being in where elk were in. They're everywhere in here. So yeah, just as you can smell cattle in a cow pasture, you can smell elk in the woods. They're big cattle. Let's take a shot and watch their body behavior. We need to keep an eye on the third one. These moves are a good example of how the animal acts when it's not under pressure. Like, there's nothing here that really mess with those. So they just don't care. And there's so few moose tags in this area. There's like basically no hunting pressure.
If you don't have other predators in the landscape, you're going to have populations grow to their ecological carrying capacity. And the impact of that is that in a winter-limited system, and the Northwest Colorado is a prime example of that this last winter. in a winter limited system where you have snow covering vegetation that these animals need to survive the winter months, you're going to see a massive amount of starvation. And that starvation essentially will kill, in the instance of last winter, roughly 30% of our elk essentially starved to death. You know, in a big realm, like, I think what it does as well is it makes you understand that you can't stockpile these animals on the landscape, right? You can't, like, you have to keep in mind that ultimately vegetation, Mother Nature, all those things are going to throw you curveballs that could impact an ultimate goal. Collect the right data and understand what production is and what harvest is okay. You can actually grow a population while harvesting elk. And I think what's really important in that discussion is, I think it's since the 1970s, we've harvested just under 2 million elk in the state of Colorado. But we've also grown a massive population of elk. And so if you have good data and you use wildlife science, you can not only grow a population of animals, but you can allow harvest. Largely, hunting is obviously what we have the greatest impact and control over. They play a vital role in managing populations such that they don't become overabundant and kind of exceed those ecological limits. But then they play obviously a role then in that regard into habitat protection, because they pay money into our habitat stamp program, where we can go out and actually protect lands for future development. So yeah, they play a pretty critical role.
And so I'm trying to think of what to do for this afternoon and the evening. And because you can't just rely on like classic things like elk behavior and habitat and whatnot, it makes making a decision of where to go really hard.
Okay, yourself?
You come up with anything?
Well, sure, Hank. I kind of got an idea, but I don't know.
You got an idea? Well, I want to hear it.
Well, okay, so I went back to, I know there's some national forest in there, I just don't know how big the piece is, but I walked back there just a little bit, and it is, they've cut out all the, they made it fireproof, kind of, not really.
So I don't want to waste my time, but right now I have a mild gut feeling that sitting on that fucking chunk all evening down 97 could possibly be a good idea.
There's a pretty good area of private that they can sit in.
Oh yeah. It's surrounded by private. But that's what I'm saying. It's literally surrounded by private. So like the odds, I feel like that might mildly increase the odds of them moving through that national forest chunk.
Instead of doing what we just did, basically walking around a real nice area that doesn't have any fresh cow elk in, and kind of wasting our time a little bit, we're gonna go sitting in an area that I know elk move through, and just hope today's the day. I don't like hunting like this, but like in this area, it's just what sometimes you have to do stuff like this. I'm slowly starting to run out of ideas and things to do after all my plans keep getting crushed. All my hopes and dreams. I'm just trying to get into spots where there's not a lot of hunters. There's insane hunter pressure right now, more than I've ever seen here. And so we're basically just going far out of our way and gonna put in a good walk. This whole area is the biggest chunk, one of the biggest chunks. Gets hunted down. And we're dealing with sizes like national public sizes like an acre, 2 acres, like super small little chunks. And so you're kind of just hoping to catch them moving through an area. Sometimes squirrels will chirp at elk. Sometimes. Just like they chirp at us. I mean, it's kind of a simple saying, but if you're at camp or if you're at your house, there damn sure ain't gonna be any elk at your house, and there ain't gonna be any elk at camp. So you just gotta keep moving and be in places where elk might be. So it is, I gotta remind myself I just should be happy to be out in the woods, enjoying life. Got beautiful weather, got a nice little breeze today, and should be happy, but it's hard to be happy because we're starting to run out of time and I'm starting to run out of ideas. Gotta remind yourself of is it's not all just about getting on elk and shooting elk. I mean, it's about learning the woods and noticing everything around you. And I love the trees and just seeing how and why things grow. And 'cause if you can understand the woods, then you can understand how and why an elk is going to move through here. That's what I really respect in a hunter. It's not somebody that just wants to go pull the trigger and shoot an animal, but somebody that has the skill and knowledge and is taking the time to learn every little detail that they possibly can learn. And then they finally get to shoot an elk or shoot a deer or whatever it be. On the grind, doing what needs to be done. How incredible would it be if a bull walked out here? Well, if a bull walked out, I'd be pretty pissed. But if a cow walked out, I would be incredible. The hunt is over. It's been another lovely elk season. Cat, Hondo, come here. Mountain lion. Good kitty. Nice pussy cat. Go fuck off. I haven't seen a cat in a while. I haven't seen it, especially not that close. I've only been that close to a cat like twice before. Maybe even once. I mean, that's 30 yards. Anytime you see a cat, it's a good thing because you don't get to see very many of them. Okay, let's get the fuck out of here. We're done. It's officially the end of rifle season, so we're done, but wrapped it up with a pretty good day. Seen a bunch of moose and just snuck up on a mountain lion. Pretty cool, so we'll take it. I'm kind of glad to be done, but sad because you gotta wait a whole another year before you get a chance to even elk hunt again, but it's good. I'm glad. Seeing that cat at the very end really put everything to rest.